This is the story of Wells of Hope, and an invitation to join their quest for living water for those who thirst. Consider this. Roughly 75% of the human body is composed of water. Likewise, roughly 75% of the Earth's surface is covered by water. Appears to be an ideal relationship. Until you realize that only 2.5% of the Earth's water is consumable fresh water. Less than 1% of it is accessible from lakes and underground. The rest is frozen. And 2/3 of that 1% is polluted beyond human health standards. That leaves the 7 billion people who live on this planet sharing 1/3 of 1% of the Earth's freshwater resources. So what does this mean? It means that annually, over 3 million children die from water-related diseases. That's the death of a child every 8 seconds. It means that an additional 10 million people are seriously incapacitated from grave illnesses. It means that due to the burden of disease, people in water-poor areas also suffer from a lack of education, resulting in lower economic productivity. It also means that for those of us who are fortunate enough to enjoy the so-called simple daily luxury of clean water, there is an obligation to share our unmerited good fortune with those in need. But how exactly do we share the much that we've been given? And who do we entrust to deliver what is most needed to those who need it most? Wells of Hope was founded by Ted and Miriam van der Zam in response to the overwhelming need they witnessed firsthand while working alongside the poorest of the poor in Africa and Guatemala. When asked to share their knowledge in Guatemala, they committed to helping the poor of Jalapa attain clean water, education, and basic health care for themselves. In 2004, 3 more families committed their gifts and unique talents to the team. Scott and Sandy Maxwell, Ben and Ree Obdine, and John and Marianne van der Zam became founding members of the Wells of Hope Board of Directors. Together with Ted and Miriam, these 4 families are dedicated to seeing God's work carried out in Guatemala. Although the original mandate of Wells of Hope was to drill wells and provide clean drinking water, that crucial foundation for life and good health, other basic social services have been added to their mission. Worldwide, education has been identified as one of the key factors in reducing poverty, lowering infant mortality, and increasing social and economic productivity. Wells of Hope is committed to working with communities to build, improve, and equip schools to ensure a brighter future for and through their children. Subsequently, Packs of Hope was introduced to encourage North American children and adults to provide school supplies, basic necessities, and gifts to Guatemalan children. To date, over 10,000 students have joyfully received a backpack of treasures through the Packs of Hope program. As Wells of Hope teams connected with children through the school programs, they began to be exposed to the severity of the housing conditions their families were living in. Scott and Sandy Maxwell coordinate the travel for over 200 self-funded volunteers every year, teams of individuals who, over a 10-day working trip, build a strong, safe house, complete with a smokeless stove, for a cost of about $2,000. John van der Zam has led many of these teams to provide displaced women and children with the security of a place to call home. Countless teams of doctors, dentists, tradesmen, families, and students have been assembled and led and forever impacted by the people they passionately serve. Despite all of these invaluable programs, the core mandate of Wells of Hope remains to drill wells and provide clean drinking water, because good health remains the foundation for everything else. Wells of Hope started out with a $50,000 drill rig that was purchased with the help of numerous small fundraising initiatives organized by a handful of dedicated volunteers. Despite the huge sacrifice and good intentions, the rig proved to be no match against the deepest layers of Guatemala's volcanic rock. Finally, in 2004, Ted found a drill rig that could fulfill the demands of Wells of Hope at a prohibitive cost of $1.3 million. Not people to be deterred by seemingly impossible situations, the Wells of Hope Board of Directors put their faith into action and chose to trust in God. The investment is immense, both financially and practically, and is shared amongst many people both in North America and abroad. The drilling of each well is followed by the installation of a pump and concrete holding tanks to draw and safely store the clean water. Then, anywhere from 50 to 150 kilometers of trenches are dug by people from the local villages to run the pipes that bring fresh, life-giving water to the front doors of each household in the community. In the end, the total cost is in the neighborhood of $200,000. But that's nothing compared to the unimaginable human cost of not having undertaken the challenge. With so much financial investment required, fundraising is an important function of Wells of Hope. Budgets are prepared under the careful guidance of John, who along with Ben and Scott then help to oversee teams of volunteers in North America, who may never see the benefit of their efforts firsthand, to faithfully and creatively raise the money necessary to pay off the rig, fund programs, and support frontline workers with practical supplies and endless prayers. What the prudent business advice that the board received didn't bank on is that this investment has a return of a different kind. This investment has a return of health, education, smiles, security, community, faith, a future. And so the work continues. Wells are drilled, pipelines are laid, schools are built, homes are created, families are supported, communities are strengthened, hope is delivered, and lives are forever changed. But the work, the investment in the present and the future, depends on the commitment of individuals to contribute their time, treasure, and talent. Individuals who are extraordinary, not because of what they know, have, or do, but simply because they are able to see the glass half full and willing to trust in God to help them fill it to the brim.